Hey guys, it's Adrian, and I'm going to tell you today has been a little bit of a frustrating day in the markets, especially on the index side of things. So on the Nvidia trades, which are the only ones of the Mag Sevens that have make just a lot of sense today, it's been pretty straightforward. On the triple Qs, we had this move lower, which I was anticipating this move higher because we're coming off of sort of a big support level, and it just really looked like it was gonna catch the inflection. Didn't go long off the open. Was waiting for a pullback, and lo and behold, you get these big moves up into the range. Makes it hard to catch a pullback. And then when I did, it came down and it got me long right there at 476.32, and it wound up stopping me out at 475.55. Now that's on the future side of things. So one contract is about 800 shares. So by the time it was said and done, that's not a great feeling. But as it came down and found supports right here at our, at this line right here, that was a firm support level, and it managed to pick us up for the inflection. So 475.21 up to 475.88. And, managed to do that once in this area and then once again right here. Missed the move up and out. That's sad. But, it's been struggling to stay up above the pivot. I think right now my strategy on this one is going to be I'm going to watch for a repeat of this move and then look for a test again of this central pivot. I'm looking at all this cluster analysis data over here of the volume by price, and it just says that if it gets back down there, that should be support. And if it gets there, it gets there, and if it does, it's going to pick me up again, and I'm going to have a target up at 477.05 initially, and then my next target is going to be that 477.75. So now let's take a look at what I'm doing with the guys in the room on the Magnificent Seven stocks. It has been a relatively quiet day trading these, which is frustrating because when the markets just aren't giving us a lot of opportunities, it gets super tempting. I know I've got one fella who got himself into a bunch of trouble by taking just a ton of trades in Nvidia today, and there weren't a ton of trades to be had. So really, we had to wait for these levels to form. And when we had this 126.29 level, we were already getting into that time of day that we like to take a break and walk away from this. So by the time we got back, what we had was all this stuff going on up here. The move back down to 127.36 was and is the level that I am looking to enter orders at. I'm definitely interested in the long side on Nvidia today. So probably, 127.36 as the bottom, probably up a little bit off that. It did manage to, come down and just barely miss me on this one. I'm not so thrilled about that because I would be in a nice long position. But when we caught it earlier, we had the opportunity to, get up into sort of the top of the box. And other than that, we haven't really had much to talk about today in the trading room because we're just getting this sort of sideways grind in most of this stuff. And Nvidia is really the one that's been on the move and has been in a range that's tradable. We've got Microsoft that's moving, but I'll tell you right now, it's very hard to figure out where those moves make any sense. We've got Amazon. Amazon's been doing some interesting stuff. I'm definitely interested 174.04 on a short side entry. So I know that, sometimes it's hard to look at the market and say, well, the whole market's up and geez, Amazon is, probably going to pop higher. It's probably going to do something here, and I don't want to be short. But I really think that the dominant trend on Microsoft all day has been to the downside. And based on that, I'm going to focus on some additional downside in terms of any kind of momentum that I can pick up. Meta's been too sloppy. It just does not want to firm up at the bands. And, other than that, I think that today is going to be one of those days that a lot of our time is going to be spent sitting on our hands. If you're looking at Google and you see, how nicely it's, sort of boxed up here, then bear in mind that's less than 20 cents. So that's just barely a move at all. And the risk is actually probably higher than the potential reward. So I'm going to stay away from that And I'm just going to accept the fact that today might not be the day that we get a bunch of trades off. All right, have a great one, and I will check back in with everybody tomorrow.